And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday, June 24th. Can't believe it is almost July. That's kind of insane.
Dude, I can't believe that we're
June 24th.
We're halfway.
It is almost July.
We're halfway through this year. It's just crazy to me. It was January just the other day. Now it's 98,000 degrees in Florida. This is the hottest summer I remember, dude.
Oh, really?
This thing is
Heat
a
wave?
smoker, dude. But it's heat wave everywhere, I think. I mean, it's. I don't know if you saw these tornadoes in Dallas yesterday.
No, actually, I didn't.
My God, dude.
In Dallas?
I mean, these things were colossal. In fact, I was watching them on Twitter this morning. It was just like terrifying. It just so a week to me, it was a week full of craziness. We have a weekend. We got Bitcoin crash and we got missiles flying into the Ukraine shortly after, what's the guy's name? Biden, dying Biden.
Is that the new nickname? Dying Biden.
I mean, I don't know what he is, but he's not alive. Doesn't seem to be alive. I read something that he was a clone. This guy's I'm like, wow, y'all went out of your way to pick the dumbest clone. You might want to check in with Elon. I'm sure he's got a better robot than that. But yeah, thunderstorm. The amount of damage done in Dallas. Watching these things is terrifying. I don't know why I went off on that, but it's just a whole weekend of kind of crazy news.
Well, it's incredible how much can happen in a weekend too. And specifically, sometimes I think the government chooses to do things over the weekend because you have to wait till Monday to talk about it, and they think they can get away with it, which is why I think they actually did some of the stuff in Ukraine over the weekend.
Yeah. Because to me, that's very concerning what's going on in the Ukraine, dude. It's just escalating.
You want to talk about that first?
Bigger and bigger. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's the biggest concern I have over. Well, it's the biggest concern I have over anything. You can't make any kind of life decisions when you have this kind of insanity going on.
Yeah.
And knowing that we have an election coming up November the 2nd, July, August, September, October. We have 5 months, 4 months. The DNC, the Democratic National Convention, is August the 15th. I didn't know it was that late.
Yeah.
And we have the first debate
this Thursday,
the debate between Mr. Trump and Mr. Biden.
Which we're probably going to live stream, by the way. I'm going to have us live stream and do live commentary is going to be my goal.
It's going to be very interesting, right? That debate.
Did you watch all the previous debates?
I watched much of them. I think having a debate with no audience is weird.
Very weird.
I don't think that plays in Trump's favor at all, right?
No.
And the announcers, I understand, can mute.
Correct.
That's well, we'll see. Who are the announcers?
I think it's Chris Cuomo.
Chris Cuomo?
Yeah.
Wow, he's still around?
Yeah.
He got a big role, dude.
Yeah.
How did he get that job?
I don't know, but I think what they did was they tried
to got on his knees to somebody.
I think what they did is they tried to make it so unfavorable to Trump that they thought he was going to say no. And that was their goal. They said, if you want to debate with Biden, CNN, we can mute your mic and we're going to have our guys moderating the debate. And Trump was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it anyway.
Trump basically said, I want to debate and I'll take whatever the terms are that is required by the Democrats.
Because he thinks he'll own Biden anyway, which we're about to find out.
He will own Biden. I mean, I think he should ask questions to Biden. Well, we're off topic here, like I normally get off topic. But, look, Biden authorized, and this will be the discussion. What does authorize mean? Does authorize mean you give someone the okay to use the weapon? In my opinion, you don't pull the trigger until you get authorization. I don't know if people understand this, but before somebody shoots somebody in a combat situation, assuming they have time, they ask for approval.
Yeah.
And, hey, am I authorized to take the shot? Well, you don't get the green light before you get the authorization. Authorization is effectively you have a green light.
Yeah.
And once you have a green light to use tactical missile systems that have been donated to the Ukraine by the U.S., once you give them authority, come on, man. And within days, they've been launched. We're just escalating this to, we apparently want full-on war with Russia. Is there any other way to see this other than the United States really wants a kinetic war with Russia?
And what makes it worse is I saw a diagram of what we did is Russia around Crimea, from what I understand, has essentially a bunch of blockers so that we can't just shoot missiles over there. There's no signal, and that means they can't either. We had a plane fly around to gather the intel. That was an American plane using radar and whatever other technology, and that's how the missiles were able to be shot and landed in Crimea, because otherwise we couldn't. So we sent out.
We couldn't. They get neutralized?
Yeah, essentially. Whatever the signal is,
so
Russia essentially sends a net. Yes.
Oh, so they have a dome like Israel has, but they never.
Not necessarily a missile defense dome, but think of it as like a telecommunications dome where nothing can get in and out. But the way we got around that is we said, okay, we're going to have our own plane go and use our own plane's network to be able to target everything. And so that was our intel, which is what makes it so much worse. It wasn't a Ukrainian plane. It wasn't Ukraine just saying, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're like, hey, guys, here's the intel. Here's the missiles. Go ahead and fire. So
Russia's saying they have intercepted 4 of the missiles. So they know which missiles and who made these missiles are.
Killing 4 people and injuring
fragments of a 5th detonated in midair after being struck by air defenses. So see, they're saying none of them really worked, except one of them detonated in air, killing 4 people and injuring 150. Imagine, dude, if it injured 150 people and it was detonated in midair by the defenses, how much damage it would have done.
And these are civilians, by the way. These are civilians. This isn't like on the front line of conflict.
From what I can tell, the entire Ukrainian army is made up of civilians now, dude. Their soldiers have been wiped out. It's terrible. Okay, like I'm sad. Okay, I'm sad. This is deeply concerning. We shouldn't be killing people, guys. Like, for what purpose? Okay, like, what is our interest in the Ukraine? We have our footprint in 186 countries right now. We have military presence in 186 countries. I have no idea what we're trying to accomplish in all those. I'm pretty sure very few large organizations like IBM or NVIDIA can run divisions successfully in 186 countries. I'm quite certain the U.S. government can't do it. There's no accounting, there's no audits, there's no management, there's no agenda, real clean agenda as to what we are trying to accomplish. And we continue to waste U.S. dollars and human life across this planet. Okay, human life. We are all part of this planet. It's not about Americans or Ukrainians. It's not okay to be killing Ukrainians, Russians, Germans, Jews, Pakistanians, Indians, or any other race, dude. Like, it's just not cool. I cannot even believe we're in the 21st century. This is like we're back in the cave days with a bunch of animals.
Why do you think they're doing it now? I mean, I'm curious as to why they would do it right before a presidential debate, too. Like, because Trump's going to call Biden out on this. What do you think the logic is? Do you think it's completely illogical? I mean, even if they want war, like, what are your thoughts?
I think when you have so many problems and so many skeletons in your closet, that maybe sometimes the best strategy is just to throw everything in the kitchen sink out in the neighborhood, or somewhere else. Hey, divert attention. What if, see, that's a great question. Why would you be doing this right now?
And to your point, diverting attention. So my question is always like, okay, what else is happening?
Exactly.
If it is to divert attention, what else is happening?
Exactly. What else is happening that they don't want us to see? That can only be the only answer, right? To me, it's the only real answer that makes any sense. There must be so much noise inside of Washington that they don't want us looking. And like, how many investigations are we going to not complete? Epstein. We got this whole Hollywood thing that no one's really talking about. Okay, that Hollywood has educated a ton of kids in this country, and we have, you know, entire streams of people, man, that are really, really well connected, that are all related to P. Diddy and the Hollywood thing and Justin Bieber and Disney and all this stuff where, you know, TV's been used to create these images of what heroes are today. And they all look like, to me, they're coming under question.
Yeah.
Morally, ethically, sexually, in every way, they all seem to be coming. All our creative, artistic, you know, this whole thing in America is created, Hollywood, the whole Hollywood thing, that's coming under tremendous stress. There's just too much smoke there, dude, for there not to be some fire, right? There's just so much smoke sitting inside of Hollywood. And then we have all this insanity going on all over the place, man. It's truly concerning. So I don't know.
I have kind of an out-of-pocket question. Does this remind you at all, like when we went into Iraq in 2003 in that time period? Like, was there a lot of smoke and mirrors, or was that less clear? Like,
I think we were
different?
We were more naive then. What, right? We bought that story, and
Yeah.
like now we forgot. Hey, there were no weapons of mass destruction. We went there, weapons of mass destruction right after 9/11, right? So I've earned the right to question everything our government says. I have earned the right, and I think you have earned the right to really question anything that is said by mainstream media. I don't know. I could name on my right hand the politicians who have not lied to me and not lied to America and not lied to the world. I see the problems getting worse. And like, I was on a space with my brother yesterday, and we were talking about the economy. I said, dude, like, are you seeing what's happening in the Ukraine right now? And for him, it was a bit of a, hey, you're coming in here throwing a hand grenade, a depressing hand grenade into my space. It's not going to make people happy about making investment. I'm like, yeah, that's my point. People are not going to be happy making investment in a world that is this unstable. Okay, so like, I'm not taking anything from this planet. I'm actually adding value to the planet. What I'm not cool with doing is adding value to the planet and devoting the next 10 years of my life knowing that everybody's trying to fucking go into nuclear holocaust. Okay, and play this paradigm of the United States being in total control. That game is over for the United States. We are not going to deglobalize. We're decentralizing and globalizing at the same time, but we're going to have a bunch of stress and fractures in this globalization market, and it's going to be very competitive. Decentralized competition. I think that's good. But that means that the United States does not have the core. We have the military of the world, and we're going to enforce our military might to have basically 350 million people, 5% of the population of the world control the rest of the world. That shit's over. Okay. I'm an American. I like being an American, but I think the game of us being in total control, 5% of the world, and acting like we're a monopoly, shit's not working anymore. It's just not working. We're getting too much stress. And it would be one thing if these were real rules and agreements between countries. These are human constructs, man. You and I make an agreement. Tomorrow we can change it. I get married tomorrow morning. Thursday they can divorce me. Okay, these are human agreements. They can get revised, changed. It is not the rule of Jesus Christ and God the Almighty. It's not, dude. It's America rule.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe these rules really sorted out and work well for Saudi Arabia 20 or 30 years ago. They don't seem to be working right now. Maybe they worked out okay for other countries. They're not working out today. I mean, if you're Turkey, dude, you are piggy in the freaking middle right now. Like, you're very uncomfortable. What do you do if you're running Turkey? Looking around going, my God, man, there's a lot of shit going on around me. So And then we have markets being made up, right? Being created. Like you have to see where this is going. We are going to a decentralized, globalized, highly competitive market. If I'm running for president of the United States, I bring everything back in the U.S., dude. I build everything here. We become America. We don't do anything outside of America except for redundancy. Have redundancy in Mexico, have redundancy in Canada, have redundancy in some other allied countries, and fuck the rest of you guys. We're going to compete with you. I think America could compete better than any country on the planet, and it will be stronger. You know, when did we get great at fracking? When prices were at $30, dude. Crude oil was at $30, and oil companies got very innovative. Every time America comes under stress, we get innovative. We do not get innovative when we're watching Netflix and masturbating to pornography on TikTok. It's like we're not making any progress. I'm so sorry to be so rude about it, but I think it's that course is that America is great when it's fighting for its place in the free market. So that's what I'd like to see us get back to. We got a lot of comments.
Yeah, well, we got a super chat.
Yeah,
from Josh Bryant.
Hey, Josh, I'm going to go buy a cup of coffee with that 1999 escapes, bro. Thank you very much. And by the way, Google takes 30%.
Yeah, they do. Thanks, Josh. Bitcoin at bargain prices right now. Scoop it up. That's absolutely true, right? Good morning, guys. What's up, Simon? How you doing, boss? What's up, Yuki? Simon saying they never stopped hurting one another in Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, I think you're true. I think that's absolutely the case. If we had to put out a vote in the U.S. as for who is the current unconditional Israel or Ukraine for war funding, I think the percentages of yeses would be mind-blowingly low. Leaders loyal to lobbyists. Yeah, I think if you know how our lobbying and political system works, a lot of these politicians do make a lot of money off of war, right? And these war machines donate to their campaigns. And that's something I think everybody knows by this point.
Hey, do you guys like Sam and I sitting next to each other? I mean, if we were holding hands, would it be better?
Would it be better?
We're struggling with our camera.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to move eventually to a setup where I'm going to be in probably another room and just got to set up another camera. Right now, we're just doing what's easiest for us. Beyond the Pale Horse, check that book. Beyond the Pale Horse. I haven't heard of that book before. Have you?
I have heard of it. I'm not sure I read it. Beyond the Pale. I will actually. Beyond the. I love books. So if you guys ever have recommendations on books, please. Beyond the Pale Horse. Interesting. Big Chief Energy. The United States has lost its hegemony. Yeah, and it's the only one that doesn't know it either. See, that's the problem. It doesn't know it. And the old guys running the show, they don't know it either. The world is fractured, okay? We didn't make globalization work. I personally don't think it was ever going to work the way it was constructed. But it's not working now. And you got to admit it's not working before you can change anything. And they're not. See, they're going to get stuck in legacy. This is why I say legacy. And by legacy, I mean anything that you think about. Remember, these are constructs. They're just agreements. They're made up. See, we start thinking they're not made up. My children think all these are rules. But the older you get, you then realize, oh, these aren't rules. These are human agreements that get unagreed on.
Well, and they're rules made by a certain group of people that everyone else has to abide by, but that group doesn't. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but even let's say they don't. Let's say they didn't even discriminate against them. It's still just a set of rules that over time, every agreement's going to no longer have its value because over time you're going to have changes, right? And we're having this globe, man, just shift, right? People are wanting to control their energy or their future or their military or their exposure to risk. And the world's just moving so rapidly. You know, I'll give you a good example. First Data, which is a large vendor in the banking system. I mean, monster. They probably process 20% of all the payments in the United States. First Data and Bank of America did a deal in the 80s or 90s, and it was a 10 or 15-year agreement to basically combine different types of units inside their businesses to make it more efficient. There was a lot of redundancy.
It wasn't a merger. It was just a really close relationship.
It was basically an agreement to do processing, right? To, hey, Bank of America or First Data, you're already doing this. We'll pay you to do it, blah, blah. It served in the 80s and 90s in that analog age. And then 2010 shows up and they start to realize, either First Data or Bank of America start to realize either they're in competition with each other or there's new technology that can do it much better and faster. And that they need to get prepared. Bank of America sitting here, hey, we need to get prepared for this digital age to unwind the joint venture or partnership between Bank of America and First Data. How long do you think it took to unwind all these operations inside these two large companies?
It was started when? The agreement started when?
It was a 10-year agreement.
10 years. So after 10 years, I would say, would it be half?
Took 10 years to unwind it.
10 years to unwind?
10 years to undo all the pieces. Just assume it's only 4 years. You don't have 4 years. So all these legacy players now are looking into all their agreements they did with Netflix and Intuit and this document storage company and that provider, right? These are all now getting unwound, but they don't get unwound like that. It's like a divorce, man.
Yeah, and by 10 years, you're left in the dust technologically.
Well, and like in the example of First Data and Bank of America, I'm not picking on these companies, okay? First Data then has to go build the solution to replicate what they're doing with Bank of America. Bank of America has to do the same thing, and they're going to build to fix a problem they had yesterday, not for the future. That's the problem. Like, you're always putting a Band-Aid on it. This is why I say legacy will not survive through this, because it's like trying to build some infrastructure on top of infrastructure. This legacy infrastructure can't handle the volume. I mean, you just heard me have a call.
Yeah.
With Perry.
Yeah.
Our Node 40 business is unbelievable, dude. The timing on this thing was brilliant. We just had a phone call from a guy, referral from a client from a large accounting firm. He has $1.8 billion worth of crypto, dude. One human being. Okay. And he just realized and woke up that the little tiny accounting firm he picked can't handle this shit. Okay. And we met him 4 years ago and the guy said, oh, you're too expensive. And we're like, you don't really understand what it is you're doing here. Now we have a treasury rule for January the 1st. And we have some of the largest accounting firms in the world calling us going, hey, we have a $2 billion customer, have no clue how to deal with this. $2 billion, one guy. I knew these guys were out here, dude. Like, it's so clear, and they're coming. There are more coming. I mean, there's Michael Dell showing up to the table of Bitcoin, which we're going to get to Bitcoin in a moment. I'm sure everybody's freaked out. We got 61,229. We're off from the weekend at 66 down to 64, went through 63, and now we're at 61. It has not breached 61, but it looks like it's going to try and test it. I don't know what to tell you guys other than real estate's going through the same thing right now. You just can't see it. I can assure you my brother's real estate is not as healthy as it was 5 months ago. There are properties we could probably buy today that, 30, 40 cents on the dollar, or maybe 50 cents, 60 cents on the dollar. So just because you don't have a chart doesn't mean that other investment classes aren't getting hammered also. The whole market looks like it's weak. It makes sense to me that it's weak after we have violence all over the world right now. So this is where we are. Big Chief, thanks for the voice of reason. I don't know what else you can, there's nothing else you can do with this. I personally am not concerned about the 61 grand. It is a paper my paper looks like it's, if I go on to my balance account, yes, it looks like that I have lost money, but I'm not selling any of this. If anything, I'm probably looking at, although I'm quite busy today, I'm probably looking at, hey, can I pick some of this up at 60, 61? It means I need to move some things around, and I'm quite willing to do that. So I'm not worried about 61 grand, guys. We could be 60, we could be 59. We might test. I don't think it really collapses below 50, below 60. Could, if we have a nuclear war. I mean, everything's off the table. See, this is my problem with the situation that we have with an election coming up November the 2nd, which I'm still not convinced we're going to have a vote. November the 2nd, we have the Democratic National Convention, which is August the 16th, which is late as shit. And we have a presidential, what's it called? Debate this Thursday, which is earlier than ever before. Okay. These debates used to happen when football season was on, dude. It started getting October-ish, right?
Yeah.
It started getting cool. I started thinking about this last night. I don't remember debates being this early.
No, this is
one of the hell would we have a debate this early, dude? So people forget.
That, or the Biden's trajectory is so bad, they're really hoping he's able to pull it out and like change the conversation is what I think.
Well, can we talk about that a little bit? Because I think that might be, to me, this is the risk. Okay. This is the risk to my trade. This is the risk to my family. This is the risk to my future, is this situation, this thing with the president of the United States.
You think they're going to replace him?
Well, I wanted to ask you, okay, we have a convicted felon. Can we say that Trump is a convicted felon at this point or not?
I don't think you can say he's well, I don't know.
Has he been convicted and it gets repealed, or what do you say about it? Anyway, I call it a complete scam. Okay. But let's say that Trump is a convicted felon, and let's ask the question why we have a debate this week. Yeah. Months away from the election, which is very unusual. Normally it's held in late September, October, if I can remember correctly. Hey, thanks, Bomber, for the $5. Appreciate it, buddy. And if I'm right, and this political thing is the biggest risk to my family and my investment decisions, right? If I don't make investments in America, I will be poor. I won't be a productive member of society if I'm just holding on, right? So like you may say, hey, why are you talking about war and politics? It's going to impact your investment. Well, I'm not going to make any investments. I'm not going to feed water and fertilizer to the ground and try to grow anything if I know that the fucking land's going to get blown up, dude. Yeah. Right. So that's why I keep saying, hey, it's about investment. People are like, oh, what? People are dying. People are going to die if you don't make investments either. Okay. There won't be jobs. Okay. That's called a depression. So it's all interrelated. Strong economies make for strong people. And this kind of crap right here, it's very destabilizing. So my question to you is, if it's so clear to everyone, at least you and I, that Biden is incapable of rerunning, incapable of the next 4 years. I don't think he's been very capable of this 4 years. What do they do? Because it's not like if he died tomorrow morning, they have a solution. All they have is Kamala Harris would be president of the United States. So they can't kill him, right? They can't kill the guy because Kamala is an idiot. Then what do? They run, or do they let him get destroyed in the debate this week, and then have a Hillary, or whoever come back in? And who would it be? Newsom, a Hillary, a Michelle. I don't think Michelle does it. I don't think Michelle likes America. I don't think she has any interest in giving up 4 years of her life to help America. Most certainly, she's not going to be able to stand the scrutiny. She's not the speaker that Obama was. Not even close. The orator that Obama, the seducer. Michelle Obama is not the seducer that Obama, Barack was. Thank you, Bobby. So what do they do, man? What's the strategy? I was asking Dustin Stockton and some other guys, like,
Yeah.
what can you do here?
Well, I still have the controversial opinion because no one thinks I'm going to be correct on this. I think they're going to try to run Biden. I do. Now, I think their goal is Biden, of all the Democrats through polling, has shown to be the most liked and the most electable of anyone that they have. So that's as crazy as that is. I think their dream plan would be to run him even as a zombie, get him to win in November, and then replace him once they win.
Well, who's he going to run with the VP?
It's going to still be Kamala, unless, so there are conversations of, okay, we use the DNC to actually replace his vice president. But the assumption that people always make is that these people are just going to leave. Like Kamala has to agree to leave.
Correct.
She does not want to do that.
That's my point, dude.
And it makes them look bad to force out, a minority woman, the first minority woman VP, to then not give her the chance to be the president, right?
I got to tell you, I got to just say one thing, okay? If she's the best minority person that you could come up with, like you minorities, really look around, okay? That lady sent a ton of people to prison, dude, for smoking marijuana. And I think she smoked a ton of shit and more. She has sent so many people, like she terrifies me, dude. I think she is a heinous authoritarian, right? Will just lock your ass up and throw the keys away if she wanted to. Gross misrepresentation of what America is as a professional or even as a class act. I'm sorry to be so rude. There's nothing classy about that lady. She doesn't do women a service. She doesn't do any minorities a service whatsoever. And she's terrifying. That's all they could pick.
Yeah, they're in a very tough situation. I hear people all the time, like, for example, it's going to be Michelle Obama. But to your point, they look like such a mess and their track record is so bad. I don't see Michelle Obama in her own self-interest saying, I'm going to put my name on the line for the mess y'all created. She's still not that old. She could run again in 2028. Right. She could run it. So why use that political capital now? The way that they're going to replace Biden is going to be so messy and so terrible for the party platform. They have no good option. And I think their hope is have a good.
Well, let's say that you're the head guy for the Democratic Party.
I would have gotten rid of him already. But now, as it inches closer, you would have to force him to step down. Kamala would be president for the meantime. Then you would have to convince Kamala, hey, you're not running again. You're going to be president for 8 months, but we're going to still pick someone different, right? And run on that DNC platform. But there's so many variables. Like that's if I had unlimited power and I could tell people what to do, I'd force Biden out. I'd tell Kamala, you got 8 months, but you're not running again. And then I'd pick my two favorite candidates to then push toward the DNC and run them, right? Which would be so clearly like not feasible in the world that we're in. So that's what's crazy, and what a lot of people kind of miss is the self-interest of these people in power. They don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember Kamala Harris.
What else is she going to do, dude? She's never done anything else.
No. But Kamala Harris and Biden have an entire network around them. And if they get ousted, it doesn't matter how incompetent Biden is, his network doesn't want to leave. If you get someone in there who can actually think, that's a problem, actually. And so you have to understand that Biden's whole network of people, I say Billary, that was one of the comments, their entire network is actually bent on Biden still running because they don't want to leave their positions of power, which they know they will, even if a new Democratic president is elected.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation.
Yeah. See, I think what I would do is I just wouldn't, I would escalate this thing. I would escalate all the violence around the world and let the cyber attacks happen, let the war happen, and have some type of 9/11 event before November the 2nd.
You'd go that hard.
I think, well, you made the comment. Hey, it's really, they're in a difficult position. Well, dude, you stick my back up against the wall. Somebody did this to me once. In fact, you just heard the conversation. Somebody tried that shit with me once, and it doesn't work well. Okay, when you take away, especially if somebody has some power, you shove somebody powerful into a corner, dude, and they have nowhere else to go. They'll scorch the fucking earth, right? They will scorch the earth, and it's not like we haven't done it before. Okay, if you think 9/11 happened by some guys living in a cave, I don't buy that. Okay, there's something there's a lot of weird shit been going on this planet, and I think you would have to be blind not to see that there's interference here. Someone is stirring the pot. Yeah, I think it's our guys, man. I'm going to claim it. Okay, I think it's our people stirring the pot.
Here would be my bet. So this is an article from The Hill. The article from The Hill is Democratic senators dismissing the idea of a Biden replacement. So when you're looking at media and you're looking at like biased media, you kind of have to read in between the lines. So obviously the goal of this article is Biden's fine, Biden's safe. We don't know if that's actually true, but you can get some hints of what their plan is. All of the questions that people are asking right now will have different answers after this debate. So here's probably their bet. They are probably going to keep Biden in his home until the debate, drug him up, change his sleeping schedule. If he performs well, who cares if there's a second debate? They might try to cancel that. If he performs well, they'll just keep him to the side and hopefully ride off that high. If he does poorly, then they'll probably kick it into the overdrive and say, hey, we actually do have to replace somebody. We do actually have to find someone else. But this is a list of Democratic senators essentially saying, no, there's no way we're ever going to replace him. We're all behind Biden. But even in this article, they go, Kamala's not ready for prime time. And that tells you what they're worried about. Yeah, you're in conversation with somebody says, do we have a backup, something like that? Because honestly, Vice President Harris is not really seen as ready for prime time. That's an inside Democratic consultant saying that.
Zero chance of replacing Biden. So if that's true,
which you have to take this with a grain of salt, but you have to understand, okay, they want to calm fears because they might still be running him, and this will make him look weak to the media. But in here, you kind of see their dilemma. Like that one sentence, Kamala's not ready for prime time. That tells me that they are so concerned about Kamala that what are they going to do, right? That says it all. That tells you a lot.
Unbelievable, really. What would you do? What do you do if you're and maybe you answered the question. What do you do if you're the Biden? If you're Trump?
If I'm Trump?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would change anything that he's doing currently. I don't know what I would do different. Trump seems to be Trump's doing everything Biden can't. He was just on that big tech podcast. What's it called? Not All In. The All In podcast. That would have never happened in 2020. That would have never happened in 2016. He just went on Jake Paul or Logan Paul's podcast where he's looking super personable, super friendly. Like, you want to talk about cognitive ability, the man's able to handle interviews perfectly fine.
Agreed.
Whether he's the greatest speaker, that's different. His cognitive ability, though, to be able to show up and be there is perfectly fine. So he's doing the media grab, and he's trying to expand his influence into, I think, parts of the electorate that he didn't really get in 2020. So he's on the advantage. He's on the advantage.
Yeah.
He just needs to keep pressuring media. But then that's where they're trying to get him. That's why they're trying to keep him in court.
Well, media, when you say media, though, it's really social media. He's really tapping into the social media world, right?
Yes, but by doing that, I mean, if you turn on Fox or CNN, all they're going to talk about is what he tweeted or what media he was on. So he's doing a double play there. Yeah, so he's not showing up on Fox and Friends. But Fox and Friends, all they talk about is what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think their goal, and the only thing they can do, is to press harder on some of these charges, whether they come to fruition or not. They want to keep him from being on media. They want to keep him from hosting rallies. So They want to make him as silent as Biden is.
Yeah, that hadn't worked very well, right? They haven't done that very well.
No.
You know, this, I mean, just on that All In podcast, right? To have Chamath and the other guy, David Sachs.
Yeah.
Well, David's always been pro the Republican, I think. To have Chamath move over That's a big deal, dude, because he's I would say he is not right-centric, right? You may even get the other guys to move over their vote. I mean, everyone's losing faith in what's happening here. It's so obvious that it's so obvious to me that the current construction for U.S. government is grossly flawed and must come under review. It's either been grossly diluted from what the founding fathers originally warned about and desired, okay, or we have just gotten way off track. We violated the Constitution and our Bill of Rights and our general writings of the founding fathers. We just violated that. And one of those two things is true. We have to make a change, man. In my opinion, we have to make a change. We cannot, in a digital world, you can't just keep sending kinetic weapons and using kinetic energy as a way to control the world. I don't see how this ends well. Do you?
No. And what's also interesting, by the way, I believe Thursday or Friday, by the debate, he's planning to announce his vice president.
Donald is.
Yeah. So I've heard.
Would you see that seems early too. I don't know why he would do that. I don't know how that really helps him. I could care less who he has as VP. Not really. I like, if I'm Vivek, I would not take that job. There's a lot of jobs I would take inside the Trump administration. Like I would work 4 years for Donald Trump. No problem, dude. Point me, put me in a division, but one of them would not be VP.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the only job. Not that I would ever get asked to do that, but if I'm Vivek, I don't do that job. Go kiss a bunch of babies. We need some executors, dude. We need some guys running fucking divisions and not being VPs and kissing people.
Yeah.
He does not need to get prepared to be president of the United States. It has not prepared Kamala.
No, it has not. Right? No, it has not.
So, and the last time we had a guy that was able to be president of the United States, he probably was Dick Cheney. Like I like Dick Cheney as far as his ability, his intelligence, and his ability to make a decision, but he's a fucking total warmonger, dude.
Yeah.
Total warmonger. See, for me, I can admire him, but also put him in the box of he's a war guy. Okay. So he's my enemy, quite frankly. Like if you want war, you're my enemy. I don't want my tax dollars to kill anyone else. Actually, I want to stop paying taxes if this is the way we're going to use the money. And that would be a very interesting conversation for America to agree on. Do we like the way our taxes are being used? If we don't, since they're our money and it's voluntary, perhaps we should all start making a statement and go, hey, look, we don't want war. And until then, we're going to withhold.
Yeah.
I like that trade. Okay. I don't think we'll get everybody to do it, but I am participating in these wars by not making statements. Anyway, get off the war point. I know this is more of a financial conversation.
I would say just to that point, it's interesting how it's all related because I have a lot of buddies who are in venture and I hear often that, oh, we're just waiting. We're waiting to make an investment. And I always ask them, well, what are they waiting on? A lot of them are starting to wait on the election.
Yeah.
And I find that really interesting because I don't know if that's been true in the past where an election is such a big deal. You have money movement in capital trying to say, you know what, we're actually going to delay till November to figure out what our strategy is. Has any previous election been like that? I
think there are times when people delay, but look, at the same time, I'm seeing more money open up. Like on Node 40, I'm seeing so much interest in Node 40 right now as an investment. And 8 months ago, it was like, let's see how the ETFs work out. Let's see how this works out. There is money moving into infrastructure, AI, anything AI, which Node 40, it really is an AI solution. Over a period of time, we don't tend to promote the whole AI, use these words to accelerate valuations. But once you have this type of data, imagine having trillions of reams of data on digital assets. It is simply one movement next to go AI on that data. But you need the data first, which is what Elon's proving, hey, he has a lot of information sitting in these machines. And once he turns that data into high volume data, he should be able to understand how to make robotics work better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Because he has more data, right? This wipeout on Bitcoin this morning, does it concern you? You hold a few Bitcoin, right? So you have a position in Bitcoin. Does it get you nervous?
No, never. I don't even, when these events happen,
You don't even know it now.
I don't until I check Twitter and I'll see something. But
he comes in here and goes, oh, wow. He hears me, hey, $3,000 down day. He didn't even know it. See, that's the right investment. He doesn't know what his 401k is either. And most people here don't, but Bitcoin's price. This is my point. People judge Bitcoin in a much more harsh manner than they judge their other investments. Like you compare real estate with Bitcoin, but you never acknowledge that, but real estate gets 80 cents on the dollar, man. Okay, like you wonder why real estate's priced at average price is $400,000 because you only need 80 grand to buy one.
Yeah.
Or to enter into a debt. If that were available on Bitcoin, what would Bitcoin be worth? If you could only pay 30 cents for every dollar of Bitcoin you bought, what would the price of Bitcoin be? See, that's the way to look at real estate. Okay, one generates cash, and one doesn't. One is location, location, location. The other one is location, location, location without a location. Grab that one. Location, location, location without a location. Okay, without a fixed location. No fixed time either. I went through this whole thing yesterday with some people. I'm like, hey, look, these are both real estate asset investments. They just look differently because one generates income and one doesn't. One has the ability to leverage 80 cents on the dollar and one doesn't. And I maintain that if you could borrow the same amount of money that you borrow on Bitcoin, on a real estate property like my brother, the price of Bitcoin would be 3x of what it is today, right? So you're literally judging one pure cash against leverage cash.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very, very different asset. Not to mention the duration is much easier to manage versus going into these real estate deals, which you don't know if they're 4 years, 10 years, 12 years, which is true of many, many investments other than just equities. How long do you have to stay in? Like building these companies, you've heard me complain about.
Yeah. You
build these companies, you don't know if it's 3 years or 13. And that's a big spread, man. And most people don't think about that when they're starting it. Hey, what's my exit? How long am I going to be in this trade? Grant and I were talking about this yesterday. It's like, it's the piece that most entrepreneurs never think about. How long do you want to be in this trade? Like, how long do you want to be working with me? Is it the next 30 years? Probably not, man. I'm gonna probably be dead, right? So is it 3 years? Is it like you want to use these? You want to know, oh, I'm gonna take this. We're gonna work together, and it's gonna accelerate my platform to go further into the future. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Yeah,
I'm cool with you thinking about it that way. I think about it the same way. How you just keep the trajectory going with less and less energy, right? And that's the way America should be thinking about this, not sticking its head into all these countries and these agreements, man. These alliances that they take forever to unwind.
Yeah.
What is a marriage, by the way? Okay, I know people go, hey, that guy's just got marriage on his mind. What is a marriage? It is simply an agreement between two people. And over time, if that agreement is built on a false premise, or it's built on a premise that no longer takes care of the two people that enter into it in the first place, what are they going to do? They're going to renegotiate their trade. It's called a divorce, right? They're going to departner. Wow. This is happening at every country level. Do you know how many handshakes deals have been done between ambassadors, and prime ministers, and kings and princes over the last 50 years? They're all coming unwound. I think they're all coming unwound, okay? They're not surviving change, just like we just went through. Hey, our relationship will serve us for a period of time to get that collective rocket into altitude.
Mm-hmm.
And what is America doing? We're trying to go digital, and all we're doing is sticking our hands into everything, making us less pliable, less flexible, less anti-fragile. These long-term contracts really stick you in, dude. And when the tornado of change comes through, I think that's why I saw the tornado. I'm like, my God, look at that motherfucker, dude. It's going to destroy everything. So I just think this is a time when we need to be nimble. And I see the United States doing nothing but getting unnimble, sticking its head into things it shouldn't be doing. And it's going to get glued down to these things and not be able to do what it's done before, which is be very, very flexible and adaptable. I think that's going to be key to the future. Excuse me.
Do you want to discuss Mt. Gox at all?
Well, I've been on the phone
briefly.
this morning. My biggest concern about Mt. Gox, first off, I think it's awesome that Mt. Gox is giving back the coin. I've been on the phone this morning trying to understand the tax implications of this, because I think that's all there is here. There's going to be 140,000 Bitcoin released in the 2014 attack or the hack. Those Bitcoin. Now, this is the tricky question that we need to discover. And any of you accounting tax people that are listening to this, if you could reach out to me on DMs or Gary at Cardone Digital Ventures, let me know. If you were in the Mt. Gox hack and you took this as a tax loss 10 years ago, and now you get Bitcoin, I think you have a taxable event. Oops. Like, you don't sell your Bitcoin.
That's a huge.
Okay, so you get your 1,000 Bitcoin back. But see, 2, 3, 4 years ago, you actually filed a tax loss against the Mt. Gox hack. And let's say that 1,000 Bitcoin was at, $8,000. So there's $80 million. Is that right? I think it's $80 million.
I think it's less. I think it was cheaper than that.
Well, whatever the number was, $8,000, that'd be $80 million. I think that'd be $80 million loss you would take. Now you get the coins on middle of July. My team thinks that's a tax event. Okay. Now, if you didn't show the loss, if you didn't mark that Mt. Gox loss as a taxable loss event that you wanted to enjoy, and you get the coins, getting the coins, I do not believe is going to be a taxable event. But if you went through the loss, this could create a little bit of a this is probably creating a lot of issues for a lot of people, although they're probably happy. Anyone that took the tax loss, I think is going to get a tax bill. And that means they're probably going to have to liquidate all their Bitcoin.
That sucks.
Yeah. Well, what really sucks is if you're in Celsius and you get back the US dollars.
Yeah, I guess that's worse.
Yeah, that sucks even worse. Okay. I think the trick here was, hey, did you take the tax loss 4, 5, 6 years ago? I don't know how many did. If anyone does, Jameson Sites, Anthony Tufts, any of you guys that are running big practices on the accounting side, would love to hear your views on how this Mt. Gox is going to be treated. If you took the loss, the tax loss in the past versus if you did not, and you're still holding on to it. So we've got 140,000 coins hitting the market. You know, everything tries to attack Bitcoin. I kind of like it because it just gets all the bad news out of the way. Okay, we knew this Mt. Gox thing was out there. We've known it for years. And here it is showing up in July. So what else do we have to talk about?
I mean, it was an interesting weekend, to be honest. We got through some of our biggest 3 points. I was a big John McAfee fan, but you didn't really interact with him much at all.
McAfee?
Yeah.
The McAfee guy, the Coke guy that had all the, probably his taste in women was quite bizarre.
He was,
for a wealthy guy. I mean,
he was a really
he went out of his
eccentric
way
guy.
to pick out fives.
Yes, I will absolutely agree with that. But he used to attend all the Bitcoin conferences. So I met him in 2012 2017, 2018 at the North American Bitcoin conference. And it's just interesting because he's one of those people that, one, is like a legend within the Bitcoin community, but then two, no one's entirely sure how he died, like how he actually died.
Yeah, I see people say that I look rough on my sister called me up this weekend. You okay, man? You look rough on one of your things. I said, yeah, my guys making me do TikToks and I hate doing them. But McAfee looked a bit rough, for sure. Yeah, I don't know enough about his story, man. It just looked like he lived a really bizarre life. So I don't know enough about the guy to speak well. I do know that his death was a little odd. Let's see some of these points on. Can you just? That's a great point. I can see people preparing for a tax event from Simon, but this isn't their max time and tax loss. But isn't there a max time and tax loss? That's a good question. But I think that would be at least 7 years. So
is 7 years? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know what the date on the tax loss is, but I would have thought that it was. I don't know. So maybe I spoke out of turn. We should ask. Hey, if you took a tax loss in 2014. When did it happen? 2008?
2014 is when the Mt. Gox stuff got hacked.
Yeah, so you would have taken a loss in, say, 2016. That's 8 years ago, right? I think the government's going to want their money back, man. Okay. I mean, this is what happened 2 years ago when Bitcoin went down to 16,000. There were more tax filings done that year than any other year for digital. All the digital guys taking their tax loss, and the U.S. government said, "Hey, this is bullshit. Okay, you can't just take the losses and not show any of the profits, because less than 1 million people have paid taxes on crypto out of the 50 million they think hold Bitcoin, and I think the IRS just gets a little tired of being abused that way."
This comment's actually interesting. How is stolen property treated when it is recovered and returned to its owner? Because that's technically what this is, right? It was stolen property.
Yeah, but it's not.
That doesn't change the dynamic at all?
Now it's not stolen. So if it was stolen and you wrote off the loss, let's say you had $1 million and you said, "Hey, I lost $1 million in the Mt. Gox," and now you're getting it back. You have a tax gain. You have a gain here. Okay, you didn't lose it. You got a $600,000, probably a $500,000 tax loss on the $1 million of Bitcoin, right? Maybe even more. And now you're getting the Bitcoin back, which, by the way, is no longer worth 16 grand. It's worth 61,000. So you claim, like, what is the tax loss? Let's say you bought it 8,000. Mt. Gox in 2018. Well, the price in 2018 was in 2018 the price was $4,000. Okay, so hey, Mr. Government, I had 1,000 Bitcoin. That was $4 million, or $40 million. 1,000 Bitcoins, $40 million. And the price is now, I bought that in 2018, right? And then the price in 2020 was 6. So let's say I have a $2,000 profit on 1 million on 1,000 Bitcoin. That's $2 million profit. I took that loss against my taxes. I now get the Bitcoin back. In fact, we should do it right up here. Okay, so you get 1,000 Bitcoin, and you price those at, call it $6,000. Okay, Mt. Gox happens in 2014. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you see this or not?
Yeah.
Oh, you can see it. And so yeah, that one light. So Mt. Gox happens. Okay, you lose the 1,000 Bitcoin at $6,000. Okay, so you had a $6 million loss. Am I doing that math right? I'm just a little, I think that's right. Or is there $60 million? $60 million. Okay, so you had a $60 million loss. I think that's what you would have done. You'd have said, hey, this is 2016, call it. Okay, hey, I lost all my coins. Now the price in 2018 was around 6,000. That's 2020. Okay, and in 2024, okay, the price is 61,000. So you wrote a loss off of $6 million. July of this year, you get your 1,000 back. Okay, boom. You took a $6 million loss saying you didn't have 1,000 Bitcoin. That got stolen from you. You then get them back in July, and the price is 61 G's. You have $61 million of Bitcoin. You took a $6 million loss on. I'm pretty sure the government's going to want their $6 million back, at least, dude. At least. And see, this is when I love the Node 40 guys, because I go in there and go, hey, what's the tax loss here? Because I think he owes more than 6. Okay, I think he owes, if he bought it, what was our analysis? Our analysis said he originally bought 1,000 in 2012, okay, 13 at $4,000. Okay, that's what the price was then. Okay, so comes through here, takes the loss of 6 million. Okay, then wakes up in July with 1,000 Bitcoin. I think the cat owes 1,000 times 61K, 61 million. Okay, minus his cost base of 4 million, and minus and plus the 6 million he took as a loss back here in 2018. Okay, so I think the guy owes 63 million at whatever the interest rate was on the profit. Okay, which tells me that anyone that took the tax loss is probably going to be a seller. Going to be a liquidation event. Yeah. The question is, I don't know how much took these losses though. I don't know how much was okay. That's going to be a number that we just don't know right now.
Wouldn't they have taken it at the current price, which in 2014, let's just say, would have been what?
Well, in 2014, most likely, look, when did Mt. Gox, can you get back on that? When did Mt. Gox actually happen? It's
2014. Let's see. Maybe it'll tell us here.
The hack happened in 14. See, in 14,
yeah.
I mean, the numbers really don't, they're just numbers. But see, in 14, in 2014, the price of Bitcoin was $242. Okay, so you're going to see how some of these people could literally have 1,000 Bitcoin. No problem. 1,000 Bitcoin, BTC quantity, price. Okay, and then this is the date. So that was $242,000. Okay.
So they would have wrote that off as a loss.
Well, no, that was their entry price. Correct. 2018 come along, and the price of Bitcoin in 2018 was about $6,000, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just go pick a number. Let's call it $4,000. 2018, $4,000. Okay. Let's say this guy says, hey, Mr. Taxman, I lost, this is 5 years ago, okay? I lost all my Bitcoin in the Mt. Gox thing. I am taking a loss of 1,000 times the current price most certainly they have a loss of this. You agree?
Yes.
Okay. I would actually claim they also have a loss of this, 4 million. Okay. Because at the time of their loss, that is what the Bitcoin worth. If he lost it in 2020, it's $8,000. Okay. So we got an $8 million number to deal with. Okay. So if he files the tax loss in any of these periods, do you agree he got an $8 million or $4 million or $242,000 credit?
Yes.
Right? You got a credit, right? So let's pick this one. You got a $4 million credit. In 2024, July of this year, he gets his 1,000 Bitcoin back. Okay? Bitcoin come back to him, and it's at 61,000. He had a $4 million tax credit. He now is going to make 61 million. Okay. Now, does he just pay the tax credit back? Does he pay the tax credit back, or does he pay the tax credit back, this tax credit, and there's a monster amount of profit that he's made?
So it's capital gains, and you have to take the tax credit back.
I think so, dude. I think so. I think there's capital gain there. And the interesting thing is, this is a forced sale now. Like, this is a liquidation event. There's 61 million at, call it 42%. So there's $26 million. Okay, 26 million plus the 26 million.
Yeah, 30 mil.
Okay, $30 million needs to be found for that tax bill right there, and some of that Bitcoin will get probably sold.
Would they have to do
Again, I'm not an accountant. This is not accounting advice, but it seems to me like this is the way this would work out. Is this helpful for anyone? For you guys that are listening, just to work through the theory of Mt. Gox. In fact, let's just
see someone. Tiago's saying, but the property was returned, not gained. But I think the caveat here is because they claimed it.
You claimed it, dude. You took a loss. See, that's the thing. You didn't ever think it was going to come back, and you took it. You took the loss. Once you take it, it solidified it.
I'm 46, and 20 years ago, I'd fall asleep, but now I'm excited to listen and learn. Should have learned more early.
Yeah, all of us, buddy. That's a fact. Who said that?
Al.
Yeah.
He won.
Al, I agree. Al, every day I grow older, I realize I should have learned more yesterday. Yeah, some people are saying they get this problem. Okay, so this is game theory, though. This is really important in markets when an event like this, 140,000 Bitcoin is not insignificant, and you got to start thinking about the ramifications. This is very similar to the GBTC trade that put a lot of pressure on Bitcoin. 61 million gain with zero cost base. Zero cost base. You have a cost base on this situation of 242,000 for all practical purposes, zero. I have a friend, by the way, who has bought 500 Bitcoin for 200 grand. It's funny that I use that scenario.
Really?
I got a friend that bought 200. Oh yeah, I think he bought it all in one day. 500 Bitcoin, $250,000. See, you look at it that way and you go, oh, I could see how. See, this is the issue. If you lift that up a little bit, you guys think about 1,000 Bitcoin being a lot of Bitcoin. 10 years ago, dude, you could buy 1,000 Bitcoin for $242 each. 10 years ago. So there are people with 10,000 Bitcoin, right? For sure, there'll be, very, very large holders of Bitcoin that, you look at some of these earnings and you're like, okay, I can understand why people are moving money around, moving Bitcoin around to monetize. These are staggeringly large numbers. Let's see, Chris Inks, good to see you, buddy. How much will be distributed at a time? I don't know the answer to that question. I would assume that once they know how many coins they have, why would they keep it? Like, you wouldn't they belong to someone. They belong to the holders of the Mt. Gox exchange. So I would think that would get allocated. It wouldn't just be dripped out. Why would it be dripped out? I don't know, Chris. That's a great question. I would have thought it would have been allocated to the holders, and they then get to make a decision. But again, if you guys have any tax, accounting, I mean, my team's looking into it right now. But if you're listening to this and you have any insight into how this works, or how your clients are being impacted, or how you're being impacted, let us know. We'd love to dig in on that. Maybe we can dig in on that a little bit this afternoon on our spaces. What is our spaces today? Is at 5 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern? Yeah. We're doing those every Monday now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What else we got here? Anything else?
No, I mean, we're at an
Chris,
hour
I
and
take
10
it,
minutes.
Chris, you're not too worried about 61,000. I don't see you panicking. Good morning, handsome. Good stuff. He must be talking to you. TW, thank you. If you're a girl, you're talking to me. If you're a guy, you're talking to him.
Great.
Just kidding. Let's see. Chris Inc. says, nah, he's not worried. Chris is probably trying to move some money around, try to figure out how to buy some here. What else? Crypto in my veins. Do we know for sure they are getting actual amount of Bitcoin lost or value lost at the time? They are getting Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, which I think is really, really interesting. By the way,
Well, they might be getting
that
both.
compliment was for me.
Okay, that's
If
good.
you see the notes, it was a she, not a he.
Well, remember, some of this happened before the split, Bitcoin Cash split. So some of these people now, if anytime there was a fork, they will have Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash owed to them.
Yeah, I have some Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah.
Have no clue what to do with it, but I have some. That's when I actually backed away from Bitcoin when the whole Bitcoin Cash was going on. I got confused probably and frustrated. Gary, is MSTR MicroStrategy like owning an ETF? Yes, I would say it is a super ETF actually. It doesn't have any fees, which makes it interesting. And I think it has probably some upside that the ETFs don't have. However, you are paying a premium relative to the ETF or relative to Bitcoin alone. Whether that premium's worth it or not is a good question. I do think Mr. Saylor is in an excellent position to build software across all of Bitcoin industry. And that's what you're going to see him do. He's a very software-centric guy. He would be extremely well positioned to solve a number of problems that occur between layer one Bitcoin and how the market really works on a day-to-day basis. So to me, inside that stock price, he is extremely well positioned to build software. If we started seeing him generate revenues for some of those businesses, I think it'd be very promising. But I mean, he knows everybody. He's got connections to everybody. He's well thought of. He is a lifelong software builder. So I wished I would have bought some MicroStrategy here. I just didn't get it at the time. But there'll be other opportunities. So I wouldn't cry over spilled milk. I've done okay. And at 61 grand, I'm going to pick up some Bitcoin here today. At this price point, buying one Bitcoin here is not going to hurt me. Buying two, probably. Buying 10 wouldn't hurt me at this price. I'll just remind everybody, I sold my home, that $2.4 million home, sold it and redeployed it at $66,000 and probably $66,000 and change. This does not bother me at all. We're at 61, 62, big deal. I didn't need the cash. I don't need the cash tomorrow morning. I'll wake up one day and this Bitcoin will be worth more than it is today. And that's all I got to worry about. I saw one of the best memes I've seen. I don't know if I can pull this meme up, but it was about a little kid being held up
Was it on Twitter?
I put it on Twitter. Yeah, pull my Twitter feed up and we'll end with this. I think this is a good way to end, actually. If you can, do I have a Twitter? Yeah, I have a Twitter. Just go to my postings, go to my name, and then this is my favorite meme of the year, probably longer than that. Check this out, okay? This is to my twin brother, okay? This is here we go. Me thinking I'm good at real estate. And this is the best explanation of inflation I've ever heard. I'm on a call with my brother yesterday. We're talking real estate and the economy, and he said, "Look, rent is going to double in 10 years. Rent, okay? So think about where you're renting; it will double in 10 years." I totally concur, and it's only because of this inflation. This is it, okay? This is what real estate is good at. Real estate is excellent at replicating the asset value is replicated literally by inflation. Okay, so next year, in 10 years, this house will be worth 10, 15 million, probably $15 million. Okay, because the dollar is worth less. And this is so telling. And when you look at real estate and really understand the cost of managing real estate versus Bitcoin, no maintenance, no flooding, no plumbing issues, no lawnmower issues, no repainting, okay, no gutters, no windscreens, no HOA fees. Okay, you guys in condos, dude, your HOA fees are going to crush your ass, okay? HOA is going to get out of control. It has to. If inflation's real and this is real, HOA goes up too. People forget, like, you can't have inflation and HOA doesn't go up. Anyway, we've been on this thing for a bit. I don't think that we're adding much value anymore. Let's just read a few of these last comments to make me feel good about myself and what I'm doing. Chavez Flexington. Hey, Gary, love to see you move to some live streaming. Thank you. This is the future, my man. Man, it may be the future, but boy, is it a lot of work. A1 says he's ready to buy an RV and just pay rent. I think if you're willing to do the RV, you might want to consider just moving out of the country. No relocation from this country. I hear you, man. Unique comment. See you at 57. Okay, so this guy thinks it's going to 57. Dude, I hope so. That'd be awesome. Pick up some more at 57. Last time I picked up 100, I think last time it hit 57. Maybe not 100, but it was nice, chunky little piece. Simon W3. Thanks, Gary. Love the live conversation. Have to hit the gym and exercise the body. Till next time, I would love to hear your thoughts on after you read the book, Beyond a Pale Horse. Okay, cool, dude. Happy to read that. I think I've heard that story before. I'm not sure what it's about. Gary, let's see. So no taxes at all until you sell it. Not sure that's what I said. I think you're going to be forced to sell some of it if you took the prior tax loss. TW says, I will see you in Nashville, and she is a woman and she thinks I'm hot, so I'll probably say hello to her. And let's see, anybody hitting on you in here?
No,
nobody's
never.
hitting on you. Damn.
No.
Damn, Sam. All right, guys. Well, listen, we got people from Paddington, Florida. I don't even know where Paddington is. Guys, be happy. This bear trend is about to end. I hope you're right, bro. I hope you're right. And I'm okay with it going on a little bit longer. I'm actually afraid that you're wrong and that Bitcoin is signaling a problem in the overall economy and the world. I think I hope I am wrong, but I think that's what Bitcoin is signaling, is it's going to be a rough 4 months. 4 to 5 months. See, I think this is all about politics now. I hate to say it, but I think all of this now is about this thing that's happening Thursday night. What's it called? The debate.
The debate, yep.
When is the Republican National Convention?
Oh, I should know.
You should know off the top of your head. Shame on you.
No, it's in July.
Big fat flunk. That's in July, like in 3 weeks. 16th, I think. Something like that.
I was confused with Bitcoin.
And then a month later, August 16th is the DNC.
Yep.
I think these things are more important than Bitcoin. I think they're more important than the Fed. I think they're more important than almost everything going on the planet. This is the issue right now. If you're going to be apathetic and not vote this year, I don't care who you vote for. You can vote for yourself if you want. But if you're going to be apathetic, please don't bitch in 5 years when your children can't get a job, when inflation is out the roof, when we're at civil war and in great conflict. Okay, do not bitch to me. The time to take action is right now. Taking action later, like, we don't have 4 more years to fix this. Okay, we do not have you see this is paint all over my hands. I didn't take the time to clean up the shit I did this weekend. And if I don't clean this up, guess what? I show up to a show and you guys think I have dirty hands and all that stuff. The truth is I do have dirty hands, okay? Because I didn't take the time to clean the shit up, the mess I made from this weekend. And that is exactly what America is doing. It's not cleaning its mess up, dude. We just leave shit everywhere. And I am actually so embarrassed that I keep bitching about my country. But if I'm going to come on here and be on video and radio, how can I say anything different, dude? I would love to give a better message, but it's ugly. Do you see it any other way? I mean, am I being really pessimistic?
No, you're being realistic.
But God dang, dude.
To me,
you're a young guy. Like, how do you get okay with this shit?
It's just nature. I just view it as the natural cycle. And knowing where you are, to me, is half the problem. And if you know where you are, to me, that makes me very optimistic because I know what's coming next. You know,
which is what?
More hardship, but after hardship, you have to rebuild. So we're just in the hardship time, like the book, Before Turning.
Yes.
Spring always comes after winter. So, okay, we got to go through winter. I know spring's coming. I just got to make it through winter. So that makes me optimistic, actually.
Well, that's good, though. Okay, so and I think that's really good advice. You got to hold on. I mean, I've been through these things. 81, 86, 01, 02, 2000, 2001, 1998. I mean, it happens on a regular basis. Every great business I've ever built was literally in the depths of massive problems. And that's the cool thing, is all the funny money goes away when the market's really vomiting all over itself. If you can build a great business during this time, it is so anti-fragile, right? Because you built it on real basics. Oh yeah, I'm borrowing 6% money, not 0. Yeah. When you borrow at 6 to 8%, you actually treat the money properly. You don't then offer it out at 2, right? And when the money's just free, I mean, one competitor of Node 40's raised $180 million in cash, dude. Okay, that makes their company worth at least $1.8 billion. Their entire management team has built $1.7 or $8 billion stock options. My team has. You want to come work for me? I have stock options at $50 to $70 million. So you have senior managers who literally will never get a payday because they raised so much money 3 years ago at ridiculous valuations. And this is a problem. So I like building businesses in environments like this, but it is nerve-wracking because you just don't know where this thing's going to go, right? And how crazy our government's going to be. So I'm going to beg you each to think about what you're doing. Think about whether you're going to vote or you're going to be apathetic. If you're going to be apathetic, just own it. I am apathetic. I don't think my vote matters. And I don't really care what happens in the future, but I for certain will not be part of whatever happens, which is a lie to yourself, because just by you not doing something is doing something. So I'd rather have you show up and vote for Biden than not vote at all. And I think a lot of these people, when they go into the ballot box, they're going to go, hey, look, do I want war? To me, these are the questions. Do I want war? Do I want war? Do I want war? Do I want my tax dollars to kill any more people? And do I want Detroit, Michigan, and every other major city in massive civil unrest? What appears to me like civil unrest. If you have not watched this Civil War, this 2024 new movie, they just came out with Civil War. Bro, I would watch it. I watched it this weekend. You see Americans shooting each other, dude. Like real war with real kinetic weapons. Imagine if this nation strapped it on and the North or the East and the West hate each other. Dude, ugly. Really well worth watching a movie. It's not like it's about two press people, right? And they're in the middle of a civil unrest in the United States. All shit's broken loose. Dude, Texas and California seceded. I mean, it's a shit show. Watch that movie and let me know when you guys want to do a Ukraine in Missouri. Okay? Like seriously. If we don't start talking about this and say knock it off, we're going to end up there, guys. We're going to end up there. Literally my whole life will be, really, I did this for nothing? That's depressing, dude. And you start putting yourself, I'm a rich guy. I start putting myself in the position of somebody in the Ukraine going, oh my God, man, how must they feel? Like a whole life, a man 60 years old, got kids, got a family, did everything right. He didn't break any rules, and his whole family gets slaughtered. That's uncool, dude. Maybe I'm becoming more sensitive and a better human being as I get older, but I can't get over how difficult this is being made for everyone unnecessarily. So let's vote for somebody that doesn't bring us war, that wants our nation to leave everybody alone and just mind our own business and get our own shit in order. That would be my vote. So those are my last comments.
All right, guys. Well, you will see us tonight on Twitter Spaces at 5, and then we'll be doing this again Wednesday with Chris Inks, and then we'll be going on Twitter Spaces later this week. And then
we don't do it Wednesday. We do it. Oh,
Wednesday for the live stream, and then I'm hoping we're going to live stream and do some live commentary for the presidential debate. We'll see if we can get that up and running. I think that'd be fun, but we'll see. Guys, thanks for attending the stream again, and we will see you soon.
See you guys. Thank you.